What's going on, guys? My name is Spartan, and in today's video, I'm going to be answering a pretty commonly asked question that I've received since posting my last two Orb Devo videos, and that is simply going to be, what tier should I farm while using Orb Devo? So, first of all, I will say, if you're not familiar with the farming strategy of Orb Devo, I have a comprehensive guide on my channel, which I will have linked in the video description below. So feel free to check that out. It pretty much goes over the basics of the strategy and sort of sums up everything that you should need to know. Excuse me. I also have a follow-up video that kind of answers some Q&As that I got from the video itself. And you can feel free to check that out too. It may answer some questions that you have. And likewise, if you have any questions after this video, feel free to drop them in the comments below. I've tried to be pretty active with responding to comments. But before we actually get into today's topic, I would like to say only about 15% of you guys watching are subscribed. So I've never actually done this on my channel before, so hopefully it's not a huge deal. But I would appreciate it greatly if you guys would subscribe, because I enjoy making these videos, and if you enjoy watching them, maybe we could do like a little trade-off, you know? You subscribe and I keep making videos. So yeah, that's it for that. And also, little shout out to, I think, like, from my last Tour My Tower video where I mentioned you guys can feel free to add me on Discord. I had probably like 7 or 8 different people add me on Discord, and it was a pretty cool experience just hearing from you guys, talking to you guys about your towers, and yeah, it was pretty cool. So I'm going to reiterate that same thing. If you guys want to reach out on Discord, I am in the official tower Discord. My username is just Spartan, I think. And yeah, feel free to hit me up. But without further ado, let's go ahead and get into what tier should I farm with while using Orb Devo. So first, I think the best way to do this is to explain exactly what I did, because that's kind of been the general theme of this channel, is me just showing you guys what I've been doing. So let's go to my stats page. So prior to starting Orb Devo, I was farming pretty much tier 7 or 8, maybe tier 6, I can't remember, using the blender strategy. And that was good for me, but once I hit 50 billion lifetime earned coins, I decided to make the switch to Orb Devo. And when I did that, I followed basically all the stuff that I mentioned in my Orb Devo guide. And what I did after that was drop to tier 1. And whenever I dropped to tier 1, I probably could have started at tier 3, but in my head, I was like, while I'm learning the strategy, I'm just going to go to tier 1. I'm going to do a couple test runs of tier 1 and see what happens. And the general rule for climbing tiers that I have done, and I don't know if this is technically correct or not, but this is simply what I've done, and probably what I would recommend you guys do as well. And that is, once I would get to wave 3000 with just farming Orb Devo, that is when I would move to the next tier. So once I got to wave like 3000 on tier 1, I skipped tier 2 and tried tier 3. Once I got to wave 3000 on tier 3, I jumped up to tier 4, and so on. I have progressively done that to where now I can farm tier 9 and get to wave probably 4000 or so only doing Orb Devo, without even having to swap to blender. And that's only been in the span of about a month. So the first and biggest thing I will say, Orb Devo will feel like a slow start at the start. It is what it is. But you have to keep in mind the reason that we do Orb Devo, and that is for the coin income. So I'll touch more about doing tests a little bit later in the video. But first, let's talk about what workshop stats and labs will really benefit you if you are trying to do Orb Devo for the first time. So the main stats that you're going to want to focus on is your survivability. So obviously, you'll want to max your cash bonus, your coins per kill bonus, all of your econ related stuff. You'll want to max that in the workshop. But once you start working on your defensive workshop, you'll want to make sure that your health regen, and defense percentage are as high as you can possibly get. So I would recommend just straight up maxing your defense percentage because, I mean, it's only 99 levels and it's very, very, very beneficial. So keep that in mind. Likewise, your health is going to be probably the second biggest influence, and then your health regen. So for me, I think when I first started Orb Devo, my health was only at about level probably 2500, I want to say. And farming in tier 1, that was not an issue for me at all. But once I got up to tier like 4 or 5, it started becoming an issue for me. And what did I do? I upgraded it another 5,000, I upgraded it another 1,000 levels. And I basically just did that until I got it up to level 5,000. So now, as you can see, I very, very easily max my health and my regen during my runs. And that's because I have slowly brought them up to level 5,000. And the reason that you want your survivability high enough is so that you don't have to worry about dying and you can focus most of your energy during your run into upgrading your enemy attack level skips. The enemy attack level skips will be one of the biggest factors with progressing in the tiers. So what I generally would try to do is I would try to get my health high enough where I can only literally upgrade my enemy attack level skips until probably around wave 1000 before I have to start upgrading some of this other stuff. So what this means is you want to, especially early on, pump as many levels with cash into your enemy attack level skips as possible so that you're not having to worry about jumping back and forth, upgrading health, trying to survive, and also upgrading enemy attack level skips. So currently as it stands with my enemy attack level skips, I think I have them at about 15% just starting out. So generally by wave 1000, if I'm solely upgrading my enemy attack level skips, I can get it up to almost 30% just by just upgrading it prior to wave 1000. So doing that will be super, super beneficial. Some of the labs that will be very beneficial for you is going to be your health, your defense percent, and your health regen. Those three, pretty much the same as the workshop, are going to be super, super helpful for you. And my health regen is only like level 11. I'm slowly trying to bring that up now that I have wall, and I'm just trying to bring that up slowly because it affects my wall regen. But yeah, your health and your defense percent in particular are going to be huge, especially if you're not using wall. Because if you're not using wall, regen is not as big of a factor, but it does still help. Anything helps, right? But yeah, some ultimate weapon labs that will be pretty helpful for you is if you have Death Wave, you'll want your Death Wave health bonus to be as high as you can possibly get it. So mine is currently at times 7.5. And yeah, I mean, if I click into my health, you can see I have it currently maxed at 7.5. So it just gives you some extra health basically. That's going to be a huge one for adding survivability. Also, your second black hole quantity or extra black hole is going to be pretty huge. And likewise, your black hole damage lab, I would recommend trying to get that maxed out. And yeah, those are going to be really the labs that will help you the most in particular. But yeah, some other stuff to keep in mind is obviously your perks. You're going to want to try to get your defense percent as high as possible pretty early on. You can kind of see what I've done throughout this run. Actually, let me just get something real quick. So you can see what I've sort of done. I generally always start with trying to get perk wave requirement. Then I will try to get my econ related stuff. So golden tower, black hole, increased game speed, and some cash bonus will help for getting some enemy attack level skips. And then once I get my econ stuff squared away, I will pretty much exclusively start doing my defensive stuff. So max health, health regen, and defense percent. After that, you can start doing stuff like damage or anything that will really help you in the later stages of the run. But that's sort of the priority that I will do with perks, is I will start with econ, then I will go to survivability, then I will go to basically whatever else is needed. And yeah. Another thing that you can do if your health is not super good, your health is not super leveled up in the workshop, is you can skip out on the coin health trade-off perk. I will say, once your health does get high enough where it doesn't really matter, it does make a huge impact to your economy, but it might hurt you pretty bad early on, especially if your health level is only like probably below 2,500. I mean, I remember when I first started out with Orb Devo, anytime I got that perk, it would almost instantly kill my runs. So what I did was wait until I started getting my health level up, and I think I started getting the perk trade-off around when my health level was maybe 3,000, 3,500, somewhere around there, and it started to sting a little bit less. But keep that in mind. That's pretty much it for perks. Yeah. So now let's talk about actually doing tests. So if you are new to Orb Devo, or you've been doing it kind of on and off, trying to figure out what tier you should be farming in, what I would recommend doing is tests. So what this means is basically picking a number of waves to stop at, and you'll basically do a farm run at a certain tier. So what I would do when I first was trying Orb Devo is I did a test run with Blender first before I even did my respec and got set up for Orb Devo. I did a strictly Blender run on tier 6, and I stopped at wave 2000, took a screenshot of my stats, and basically the main thing you're looking at is your real time and your coins earned. So what you're going to do, save that screenshot in the run, and then you're going to start a run doing Orb Devo in a lower tier. And what I found was literally, I'm not even exaggerating, doing tier 1, same amount of waves, 2,000 waves, I was actually making equal coins to my tier 6 Blender run. And that was super, super exciting for me. Because tier 1, I mean, I could have easily went to like wave, I don't know, 4,500, 5,000 in tier 1. So that was super, super exciting. And what I have found is that by slowly working my way up the tiers, I have been able to upgrade my workshop so much quicker than had I just been doing Blender. And again, coins is the main reason that we do Orb Devo. So there are some downsides, of course. I mean, I touched on it in my guide, I believe, and the biggest downside is it does require more attention. You do have to actually like pay attention to the game. But in my opinion, depending, of course, on how busy your life is and whatnot, I kind of just told on myself right there. I guess I don't really have a life or something. But anyway, yeah, depending on how much actual time you have to like sit here and look at it, Orb Devo may not even be for you. Like, if you're super, super busy, if you have a really crazy job where you can't really like look at your phone that much and stuff, probably you should just do Blender or a different strategy. I mean, there's no wrong answers. That's what I love about this game, is there are so many different strategies that you can do. And I mean, each one has their own benefits and each one has their own drawbacks, you know? So you just kind of got to kind of weigh the opportunity cost of those and see what best fits your life and your tower. So for me at the moment, it is Orb Devo. I have a job where I have enough opportunities to kind of break away, like, and how it usually works is during my work day, I will usually start doing Orb Devo And then once I get to around like wave 2000, I'll just unlock free upgrades. And then usually just leave my phone in my pocket with the game on. And by the end of the day, usually have about a wave 4500 run. And then once I get home, you know, hanging out with the wife and the kid, just start a normal Orb Devo run. And then what I'll do is for my overnight run, I'll start an Orb Devo run, get it to about wave 1500, 2000, and then unlock free ups. So that's kind of what I've been doing, and that's what has allowed me to really just explode with my progression. I've gotten countless comments talking about how quickly I've been progressing, and I mean, probably the biggest proponent of that is that I have been doing Orb Devo for a month and a half or so. So that's going to wrap up today's video, but I will reiterate, if you guys do have any questions about the strategy, if there's anything that you need some clarification on, feel free to reach out in the comments below, and I will do my best to try to get back to you. And yeah, anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. Subscribe and like the video if you enjoyed it, and I will see you guys later.